Good morning and welcome to Sports and Shorts Tailgate Edition on 92.9 KVRE, online at kvre.com and on iHeartRadio. Alongside Tracy Simpson, I'm Mark Oliver. Tracy, it's November, and I'll be honest with you, I'm a little bit sad. I've got some of maybe the holiday blues going into this week because as a baseball fan, we wait 162 games plus the postseason, all for the World Series, all of who's going to take the trophy home, who's going to make history, who's going to etch themselves in the MLB lore. It's a lot like the Christmas season, if you will, because, the day after Halloween, my wife has the Christmas tree up at the Oliver house, and you start seeing the trees up downtown and the lights are on and you get into the holiday spirit. But on you build up for this one day, Christmas Day, and then it's over. It's over in like 10 minutes and it's like, oh, no, what do I do now? Waiting for the next Christmas season to come back. That's how I feel about baseball right now, especially because of how exciting this World Series was. Game 7, the Los Angeles Dodgers win the World Series in dramatic fashion, rallying from a 3-2 series deficit to beat the Toronto Blue Jays. From Game 4 onward, this series delivered unforgettable moments, and it all culminated in that 11-inning thriller in Game 7, the first repeat back-to-back World Series champions since the New York Yankees in the year 2000.
Yeah, excitement all the way around that, and plus the characters that were a part of it, Mark, made it even just a better storyline. You go like we've talked about the best team that money can buy to Toronto with 32 years of just trying, and of course the characters that they had over there, man. Vlad, you sort of wanted, after watching him on all that it takes with him as a 3 or 4 or 5-year-old running around there, with his dad's bat and stuff.
Yeah.
The sentimental aspect of it, but then the practicality came into play when you saw them use 11 pitchers in that final game, 8 for the Dodgers. And baseball really came out as not only the players on both sides being just that very professional, being the best of the best, but then the managing aspect of it also. Sentimental, yeah, Toronto, of course I wanted them to win, man. Nothing against the Dodgers. I didn't have a dog in the fight. But then also Ohtani and those guys over there. And, you know what to expect from them. You didn't see it at first in the first 2 games, but then you saw down the road how things really are. And when their backs were against the wall, they tore the wall down.
And that's exactly what it took out of this Los Angeles Dodgers squad. It had to take their backs being against the wall. In Game 4, Mookie Betts and the big 3-run home run in the 6th inning, you could make the argument that really kind of flipped the series around as a major turning point. That ends up tying the series 2-2. Dodgers back against the wall in that situation. Of course, Walker Buehler, one of the heroes from last year's World Series, 6 strong innings in Game 4, keeping Toronto's backs in check. And then in Game 5, the Blue Jays down but never out. Trey Savage, the rookie pitcher, an amazing young man that I think is going to have a very historic MLB career, dazzling with a dominant start, struck out 10 over 7 innings. The win gave Toronto the 3-2 series lead, taking that home field advantage away from LA, and it ensured that the World Series was going to be won north of the border in Canada. And just like that, the Blue Jays were 1 win away from their first title since 1993. They had two games to get 1 win. But once again, Dodgers back against the wall. Dodgers force a Game 7. They win Game 6, 7-6. They rally from a 6-3 deficit in the 8th.
Unbelievable.
Freddie Freeman, the 2-run home run. LA's relievers shut down Toronto in the final 2 innings. And then you got the winner-take-all Game 7. And it was everything that you could have asked for. One of the greatest World Series games all time. And, I throw it up there with 2011 Game 6, Rangers-Cardinals, and then my personal best World Series game of all time, Cubs-Indians Game 7 in 2016, with the extra innings and the rain delay, and the Cubs break the curse, and it's 108 years. And it's, this one really ranks up there. And I think that it will grow a little bit more legs in the greatest game of all time discussion. I don't know if it's quite there, mainly because I'm such a Cubs fan, and that game was so special, ending the curse. There was no curse to break here. But what this win did do for the Dodgers is further cement this dynasty, this legacy. I mean, Yamamoto coming into this game in relief on literally 0 days rest. He comes in, gets 8 critical outs to seal the win. He's named the MVP. Well deserved. There were so many moments in this game specifically that it was this close to where the Blue Jays would have been celebrating a win. You know, you think about the play at the plate where just out by just a step, and, you know, no bones about it. It was the correct call out, but not having that like secondary lead as a runner on third is technically a mental mistake that potentially could have cost Toronto the World Series. And of course, maybe the most controversial moment of the World Series coming in Game 6, where the fly ball deep to the outfield gets lodged underneath the wall.
You know, that has never happened, Mark.
Well, here's the deal. If the Dodgers outfielder touches the ball,
right,
just makes an attempt to grab it and can't get it, the Blue Jays win the World Series. But he was smart enough to throw his hands up, and the umpires granted the ground rule double instead. I mean, a game-changing baseball IQ play. And after the game, analysts are going out there and looking, how could that be possible? It was like a 1 in a million chance that ball on that trajectory could have landed and gotten wedged underneath between the wall and the turf. And they could not recreate it. Now, I don't know. That may be the controversial point, but it was ruled as a ground rule double, and the ball was lodged and unattainable there. And what did you think about that one?
Well, obviously, Mark, I mean, the ball was in play. And I don't know how hard it would have been to, I mean, you saw him walk over there and just pull the ball out. But once again, it's ruled as it is. But I'm sitting there watching it the whole time, and you're right. But here, and afterwards, I didn't know this, but when they made the remark, it had never happened before.
That's right.
Never happened before. So, and I guess this goes back to coaching, Mark, and goes back to knowing your game, because they had told them the exact thing to, do not attempt to get the ball. So obviously this had happened before, maybe in practice or in, another game or something or whatever, but
exactly
never during a live game.
Well, because you think about how much pressure is in that moment and how much panic is potentially in that moment for that player. The IQ to throw your hands up instantly is either just really, really smart in crunch time, or that meeting that they have at home plate before the start of the game where they talk with the umpires. The Blue Jays staff specifically for the Rogers Center has to discuss things like that, hey, out in the outfield, there is a chance if a ball could get lodged underneath. And of course, it's the World Series. I guarantee that this officiating crew went through that place like a fine-tooth comb to look for anything like that. My assumption is that was an element that was potentially discussed in the home plate meeting. That's very standard for this level of play, especially with the high-stakes matchup. Everybody knew that it was Game 6, but it was in a situation where the Blue Jays, it was a win and in for the Blue Jays.
Yeah, exactly. They say, well, what's in play? Always. You go over that, you've been around baseball long enough.
So it must have been discussed by Dave Roberts and the coaching staff for LA to know either that or it was just a really smart heads-up play. But it was the play that saved the World Series for LA. And now they've won 2 in a row. And, of course, Miguel Rojas with the game-tying home run, Will Smith with the homer in the 11th. The Dodgers never had to play small ball. There was the three-run home run from Bo Bichette early in the game. I was actually watching the game at the bowling alley. The family and I decided to go bowling that night, and the World Series Game 7 was on. And special thank you to Central Bowling Lanes for having the game on, because I was panicking not being able to watch it.
Wow.
But that 3-run home run, I was like, all right, that's it. They're going to run away with this thing. The Dodgers never had to play small ball to catch up. They just swung as hard as they could and made it leave the yard, and that was how good this team was. The long ball, the offense, the dominant pitching, they were the complete package. And now 2 wins in a row, first time in a long time, and now they're champions. It's their second straight championship, 3 in 6 years. And now you turn the page and you ask, we've talked about this before a little bit. Of course, Mookie Betts coming up with his 4th World Series ring.
Well, here's the deal, though, with Mookie. But now you got to give this to the manager of the Dodgers.
Dave Roberts.
How they changed the lineup.
Yes.
Because he brought Will Smith in.
Yep.
Okay, because Mookie was on it. He was going back. Then he finally got that double.
He was kind of in a
he was at 179.
In a hole, yeah.
He was hitting 179.
Yeah.
But then when they changed the lineup, and he'd been at batting practice for 3 hours that day. 3 hours. And he admitted, I'm in a slump.
That's what it takes.
Yeah, but he was out there
takes.
for 3 hours. And that doesn't mean when that means him and the batting coach.
Yep.
Which he probably has his own personal one,
Yeah.
was out there looking at, analyzing his swing, analyzing every aspect of it, everything. For 3 hours they were out there. And sure enough, Will comes through. I mean, big time. But then right after that, and they're talking about it the whole time. What does he do? Doubles.
Yep.
His first hit, he went 1-16, and then he doubles to drive in another.
It's contagious.
Get another ribby.
It's contagious.
So, and it's the World Series too, though, man.
So we talk about the World Series championship, and of course, in the big World War III, USA defeats its arch rival Canada in the MLB.
I just don't. That was encouraging to me. I mean, I didn't see it that way. I know a lot of folks
I didn't see it that way either.
I mean, what I thought was cool is they were singing both national anthems.
Yeah, and
I thought that was really,
and it's standard. It's standard. I've been to some Blue Jays games at the Rogers Center before, so any kind of Canadian sporting event.
Well, they do it in hockey. They do it in
where
basketball.
a U.S. team is involved, they do both national anthems,
Right.
the U.S. and the Canadian national anthem. They sing "Oh Canada," and what a World Series to remember. But now it sparks the discussion even further. We talk about Shohei Ohtani, the Game 7 starter. I'll be honest, he didn't pitch super well. Gave up that 3-run bomb to Bichette and got chased early in this one. But when you look at what Shohei did in the World Series as a whole, how can you not say that this is the greatest player of all time? Now he's got back-to-back World Series titles, finally got out of the Angels over to the Dodgers. Now he's a winner. He's got 3 MVPs. In his postseason stats this year, 8 home runs, 14 RBI, 2-1 record on the mound with a 4.43 ERA. In Game 4 of the NLCS, one of the most dominant performances in the postseason ever, hitting 3 home runs and striking out 10 batters over 6 scoreless innings. It's never been done before.
No. Getting on base 9 times.
So, okay, but what about Babe Ruth? Babe Ruth is the greatest player of all time. Babe Ruth never played against integrated competition. He wasn't a two-way player for his entire career. Well, what about the big all-time hitting greats, Willie Mays, Hank Aaron, Barry Bonds, asterisk or no asterisk? They dominate offensively, but they never pitched. I believe that you're looking at the greatest baseball player of all time, and I believe that this World Series win specifically cements that into baseball lore.
Mark, I'm right there behind you. And another thing, too, though, his confidence is impeccable.
Yeah.
And what that does is around, you've been out there, whether it's playing or coaching or managing, whatever, it reinforces other people, the other players. When you got that just exhuming that kind of confidence off of you, it just bleeds onto other players. I'm telling you right now. And that's what it did for this team. Not that they're all not really good players. Obviously, they're in the pros, they're World Series winners. Like you said, Mookie Betts, 4 rings. But it just, when everybody's in that positive mode, such as he's done things out there. I recall watching him, I think it was the Padres. He got hit by a pitch and then went over there and acknowledged the guy in front of their dugout.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And they didn't say anything about it. He just said, "I'm okay."
Yeah.
And I mean, who does that? I mean, really, you get somebody from the Bronx, they're ready to meet out on the mound.
You know, I see this on the collegiate level in my everyday 8-to-5 job at NPC. In interacting with our international student athletes, there's a different level of discipline and respect. And no offense to the American-born student athletes at NPC or anywhere else in the world, they're just built differently.
It is.
And I think when you travel halfway across the world to play the game you love, no matter what sport it is, I think it just means more. Not to say that Americans are taking it for granted, but you can see that sense of pride in these international players and the way that they carry themselves. And it feels like this game, this moment is a privilege to them.
Sure.
And they embrace that. And it's real special to watch. And, I'm always rooting for the underdog. And I don't even know if you could correctly say that Toronto should be classified as an underdog in this scenario. But they are if you compare payrolls. You are if you compare the dynasties and the players. And, the Dodgers have the greatest player of all time, in my opinion. And he may not even have to be the best player on his team in any given night to get it done. That is the saving grace that allows me to celebrate this win for LA instead of, oh boy, baseball bought the best team again, which may still be down the road. But I mean, when you look at it here, LA is still the team to beat, and now potentially the favorite to three-peat next year.
Well, if they keep the same guys, obviously. I mean, there's no reason why they couldn't.
Well, they made Ohtani's entire contract in the blink of an eye this season.
Oh, trust me, they're going to – and that's the deal. They're fixing to go to the table right now with the rest of them.
Yep.
And then you've got a few that are getting up there. I'll be honest with you. And Ohtani will be 32 next year. But
all
still,
the star power.
But, Freddie – he's getting on up there a little bit, some of the others, and so we got to take that in consideration. So we'll see what happens. I think that obviously Vegas has got to have him as the favorite already.
Congrats to the Dodgers on winning the World Series. I'm sad because baseball is quite a few months away. Ready for next season. The White Sox, Game 1.
Yeah.
Be tied for first place in the league.
There you go. Number 1, baby. That's
right. That's right. Embrace it while we can. All right. More to come on Sports and Shorts Tailgate Edition in a moment. Stick with us right here on 92.9 KVRE.
Mark, you could have said there were angels in the outfield when the ball got stuck.
No. Those two teams hate each other. No chance. 0.
It's second quarter coming up.
And we're back. Sports and Shorts Tailgate Edition 92.9 KVRE. With Tracy Simpson, I'm Mark Oliver. Tracy, the first 12-team CFP bracket projection came out from the CFP crew this week, and the top 12 teams in the nation are not so surprising maybe at the top of the lineup, but some of the teams that are squeaking in, if the season ended today, can create some kind of eye-opening matchups. So, of course, the 12-team bracket is out. No surprise for the numbers 1, 2, and 3, Ohio State, Indiana, and Texas A&M. Alabama currently sits in that 4 spot, despite a not-so-great loss earlier in the year. But if the season ended today, they would have a first-round bye into the quarterfinals. And your 5 through 12 is as follows. Number 5, the Georgia Bulldogs. Number 6, the Ole Miss Rebels. Number 7, BYU, the Cougars. Number 8, Texas Tech. Number 9, Oregon. Number 10, Notre Dame. Number 11, Virginia. And number 12, the Memphis Tigers. What are your thoughts if the season ended today? Memphis gets a first-round game against the Georgia Bulldogs. We saw Georgia and Florida a week ago. The Bulldogs did not look like they were postseason ready in that game, despite grabbing the win anyway. Any of these matchups kind of intrigue you? Any of these teams kind of intrigue you as a potential Cinderella story, upset story, maybe somebody that can take down a top dog?
Right now, and I'll be honest, we talked about this before the pre-interview, but here's the deal. There's 4 teams up there right now, and one particular one that shouldn't even be in college football. And as far as Ohio State looks like a pro team, I'll be honest with you. There's some, I think there's some teams out there that they could probably beat. I'll be honest with you.
In the NFL?
Now.
Yes.
In the NFL.
The Saints.
Saints, Jets, whatever you want.
Definitely the Jets. They just traded away everybody that mattered.
I know. I didn't understand that. But here's the kicker right now. This is going to change a little bit. But as of today, I think the way that Georgia, now if they played this weekend, well, let's just call it this next weekend. Next weekend. I think right now that, to be honest with you, the one that you just said last, Memphis. I think they could give Georgia fits. The way that Georgia's playing right now.
Mm-hmm. The running game.
And the way that Memphis is playing right now, I think they could give them fits. I'll be honest with you. You're right. We saw them play live. We saw Arkansas at its best, play against Memphis.
This is true.
Okay.
This is true.
And then you saw Memphis, that wasn't their best game. And they still took them apart. They came back from behind, of course, and won. But here's the deal. After that, Memphis has put some points on the board. And here's the deal. They don't do it all just on the ground. They've got a combination. They go both. I mean, their defense, a little lackluster, but I think that would be the matchup right now. If I was a gambling man, I would go.
And you're definitely not, right?
Yeah. I would have to, because Georgia's going to be the favorite. We know that, SEC. But let's go back a little further. How many SEC schools has Memphis beat in the last 4 years?
Well, okay. Yeah, so strength of the schedule is not quite there.
They beat them all. They beat every SEC team in the last 4 years that they played.
Well, so this year, when we talked about Arkansas and Memphis, the schedule, so, yes, they did beat Arkansas. Yeah, and you can make the argument that it absolutely ruined the Razorback season this year. But in terms of, like, Arkansas wasn't ranked in that game.
No.
And Memphis didn't have a ranked opponent on its schedule the rest of the way at that point. So you could still make the argument that they haven't really been tested.
No, they haven't.
Although I'll buy your argument that they beat the best possible Razorbacks team this year.
That's what I'm getting at.
I will buy that argument, but when you look at the record, I don't know what that really means, because the only two wins are Alabama A&M and Arkansas State. So I don't really know what that means. And Memphis may be the real deal because they haven't been tripped up by anybody. And I don't think anybody else on the schedule is going to trip them up. Do they have what it takes to beat Georgia? That'll be that's the million-dollar question.
The way that Georgia's playing right now, okay?
Yeah, I was not impressed with the matchup against Florida. I agree.
No, I mean, you had, and not that it had to do with the coaching staff at Florida, but we've seen this merry-go-round now already in the SEC and around the country. But as it is right now, these players, you got to think about this. With the games that they got existing right now, these seniors, the seniors that are on these squads that are not looking at the NFL, CFL, whatever, European League, they're playing for pride right now, and that's what they're playing for. They may never put on pads again. I've been there. Trust me, I know. Cried like a baby my last game. It's that simple. When I hung up my cleats, it was just that simple, and it happens to you. And so they're playing for pride right now, and you've got a lot of teams out there that could be a little bit different. And like you said, we talk about this strength of schedule all the time. But I'm just talking about as of right now, if they went 4 quarters coming up next weekend, I believe that Memphis would have a shot. Now, do I believe they should even be in the mix? No.
Okay.
There's other teams out there, and we'll go over that next week when we see after this week. This weekend today is going to be a biggie. I promise you. Today is going to be a telltale of a lot of teams around the area. I promise you that. And next week, we'll have a little bit more input.
One more matchup that I would look at if the postseason began today, and looking at a team that could potentially upset one of the top 4, I'm looking at that Notre Dame BYU matchup. We talked about this last week, Tracy, with BYU and strength of schedule.
Outside looking in,
but they haven't lost to anybody, right? So getting that opportunity to play against Notre Dame, which is somebody, at least on their schedule. The winner of that game, if the postseason began today, the winner of that game, Fighting Irish and Cougars, would go on and play Indiana. Now, Indiana has played lights-out football this year, and they're just barely in that number 2 spot. If Ohio State had any signs of weakness or slowing down at all, Indiana might have a better push to even be potentially considered the number 1 team. But, I mean, it feels like David versus Goliath when you look at 1 versus 2. I think that the way these two teams are playing, and we'll learn more, let's say if those two actually do face off in that 10-7 matchup, I believe the winner of that game could give Indiana a run for its money.
And absolutely. Not that look, I'm going to have a lot of people calling in and listening. It's not that it's a weak conference or anything like that. I just think overall, if you look at the Indiana,
it's all about the unknown.
That's the deal. You don't know. And they score. When they score a lot of points.
Yes, they do.
And time of possession. BYU is not that. That's not what they're all about. That's the Cougars. That's not what they're all about. They've got to get it while they can, and they've won some good games already. But we'll find out what they're really like, because Notre Dame's going to challenge them. And I know those 2 losses Notre Dame had, came against really good teams, man. And I'm not a Cougar. I'm not a Fighting Irish, by no means, but BYU is going to know that it's in a matchup coming up. So I'm telling you right now, strength of schedule, you don't see some beef on the line, but then you got BYU that, and I'm agreeing with you, Mark, all the way. BYU can throw some surprises in there. They've always done it. They always have. And, man, when you talk about some people that won it, and we'll find out what happens. It still bugs me about the strength of schedules of some of these and how Notre Dame bounces around. That's what gets me,
Biggest matchup that I see in the Saturday slate, starting just after our show ends today, BYU at Texas Tech. That's number 7 at number 8. This is going to be in Lubbock, the land of the Red Raiders. What do you think? This is the first true test for the Cougars here, who, like we said, haven't necessarily played anybody. And we talk about that unknown. They play who's on their schedule, right? Yeah. And they have one ranked win. It's over Utah. It's a 3-point win over Utah, who's number 23 in the nation. They've beaten Iowa State. They've beaten Arizona, Colorado, but nobody to really write home about here. So this is the first real test, and you can make the argument it's the only real test because all that's left is TCU at Cincinnati and then University of Central Florida. So this is the first real look. Does BYU deserve to be in this discussion?
Lubbock's a little bit different. It's going in where the Red Raiders love to play, of course. That's going to be different. After getting tripped up last week, though, Mark, I didn't see that one coming at all.
I know.
I mean, that one was a letdown. Were they looking past that? And I mean, I don't know if they were looking past that or not or whatever, but I think Tech, they saw that game as shoulda, coulda, woulda. They could be undefeated right now. Not that there's not some good teams out there. Cavaliers, Virginia.
I don't know. But I mean, you could have said the same thing. Like if you could, in theory, if you could bring back somebody from the dead that died within the past, 5 years and be like, guess who the number 2 team in the nation is? It's Indiana. You sure that we're not playing basketball? No, we're playing football.
Yeah, well.
It feels like one of those kind of things.
And it is, but in Indiana, it's a Cinderella story, baby. Cinderella story. I was on them last year.
That's right.
And I was on them this year.
That's right.
But and simply because what you said a while ago. What'd you say? Underdog.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody looking at them saying,
everybody loves one.
When are they going to get beat? Because it's still the Cinderella story. I'm just telling you right now. But there's no glass slippers in Indiana. There's good smash mouth football, and it's been proven time and time again. You line up, you win in the trenches, and man, have they got some beef in the trenches. Go check out, everybody out there, listen to me, go check out their starting offensive line right now. And that's where they're winning. They're winning in time of possession. They're winning the rushing game. Not that they can't throw the ball.
Sure.
They can do that. But they've got some tailbacks, too, that can run the ball. They got a quarterback that's just really can manage time, too. He's really good at managing time and seeing the field. So that's going to, I think, but I like your thoughts on that. Tech coming back, playing in Lubbock, been to that field, actually played ball on that field one time.
Okay.
Played in the Texas All-Star game on that one. Many moons ago.
Pretty high stakes matchup for sure, of course. But when we go back to Ohio State and the dominance there, we're talking about repeat champions, right? They're in the driver's seat to do it again. Does anybody realistically have a chance of taking them down? Looking at where everybody is currently playing, the level of football they're playing right now, if the championship game was today and it was Ohio State versus the field, anybody out there, can anybody stop the Buckeyes right now?
No.
I'm not even sure if my Oregon Ducks can do it. And
no.
I imagine that they're probably going to see that matchup, Ohio State and Oregon, in the CFP. I don't know.
Mark, and you talk about SEC having money and the Dodgers having money. Ohio State, money.
Oh, yes, they do.
And they've got the best players that can be bought on the field right now. How many do you think, and we'll talk about this later in January, how many are going to go in the first round?
Probably 6 or 7.
But that one, dude, last year they had 5, and they had another 10 go in the second round. So then I'm telling you, and I'll take this one right now. I'll eat crow. You can cook it, you can baste it, you can break it, you can do whatever you want to. Raw. I'll eat it if they get beat.
Okay.
Serve it up, feathers and all.
Oh, gross.
Whatever.
You probably just bring in your own, bro. I got this in my yard.
Bring the crow.
My coon dog caught it.
Ethel will bring one if I ask her. You know she will. So, hey, let me throw this one at you real quick. Though. Notre Dame versus Navy. The midship 7-1, baby.
you can't even do this with a straight face. What are you trying to do here?
Well, they're 7-1.
They are 7-1,
okay.
And I think Notre Dame's gonna walk all over them.
They're always 7-1 or 8-1 or when they meet Notre Dame. They always are, and then they get trounced.
Yeah.
I don't, and I'm not bashing.
You play who's on your
you
schedule.
Navy guys out there, I don't want to need no emails. I love our veterans. I love our armed forces. Don't get me wrong. I'd love to see Navy beat them. I would love.
And then, of course, I know that Arkansas does not play this weekend. It is a bye week. And, of course, they've got LSU on the schedule. It's in Baton Rouge. LSU, maybe a week early, too early prediction here. But LSU also making a head coaching change this year. Is it, will the Arkansas Razorbacks lose by 3 points again? Or is this potentially the only chance Arkansas has to get back in the win column this year?
I saw them beat LSU 10 years ago up at Fayetteville for the Battle of the Boot. And they came in, Notre Dame was everybody was talking about them getting on Arkansas' schedule, and it never happened, if you remember, because COVID came in.
Yeah.
Remember COVID? But they were talking about it then. So the big game then was LSU.
Right.
Okay. And Arkansas took them down. But that's a whole different story. We'll talk about this next week a little bit closer as we get to it, because they've got to go down to Baton Rouge.
Yeah.
You're going to 100,000 Cajuns.
Death Valley.
You know what that's like? Jeez. For one thing, you don't speak their language.
And they can tell just by looking at you that like you just don't belong.
Man, I'll tell you what, it's something special. You want to talk about going to stadiums? You go down there, and if you ain't got a tiger tattooed on you, you better not be out after dark.
Yeah, you got to hide. Got to wear your long sleeves, because so many of my buddies have Razorback tattoos on their arms to cover them up.
Yeah, but anyway, there's some good games coming up this weekend, and we'll know a little bit closer. But still, Ohio State, man, and I'm not a Buckeye by no means.
No, me neither, because they typically take down my Oregon Ducks in dramatic fashion.
You know, and I still can't stand what happened in the Sugar Bowl with Arkansas.
Oh yeah,
that was a bad call, another bad call. Anyway, we'll go with that. I love it.
We're going to break down the NFL. Week 10 is here. There's a lot of big storylines going on around the league. We'll talk about it next. Stick with us. Sports and Shorts Tailgate Edition on 92.9 KVRE.
Third quarter coming up.
It's week 10 of the NFL season, and we're here to break it all down. Tracy Simpson, I'm Mark Oliver, Sports and Shorts Tailgate Edition on 92.9 KVRE. Tracy, big storylines heading into this week. Of course, we talked about that game of the week last week, the Buffalo Bills at home taking down the Kansas City Chiefs. You were right. I was wrong. And the win for the Buffalo Bills, I think, surges Josh Allen to the top of the MVP discussion. Huge win there. Buffalo's reclaimed the top spot in the power rankings, even though they have not reclaimed the top spot in their own division. The AFC East is still controlled by the New England Patriots, and a win is a win. It was a 1-point win over the Atlanta Falcons, and it looked ugly in spurts, but now New England with a chance to maybe instill a little bit more confidence in some of the NFL fans out there. They got a big one at Tampa Bay in the 12 o'clock slot this weekend. Battle of division leaders, two of the league's most surprising teams, with Drake May versus Baker Mayfield out there. Patriots and Buccaneers, one of the biggest games of the week. Who do you like more?
I'm going to tell you what, May's playing for a rookie, man. Think about this, what he's doing. But once again, this is the same thing we talked about a while ago with the football. He's got people around him. He's got veterans around him that are making him play better, obviously. Of course, he's got a great football sense anyway. And his coaches, too. New coaches, new player, new scheme, too, though, by the way. It's not Tom Brady's offense anymore. I mean, similar fashion, but it's just a different scheme. But then Baker Mayfield, for some reason, I don't know how he pulls these things out in the fourth quarter. It just happened. I think it's going to be a great game altogether. But I'm going to tell you what, when you get these two together, they're playing in Tampa Bay. I think the pirate ships are going to be cannons going off. And I think they've seen enough film now on the rookie to know maybe how to beat him. You know what I'm saying? And Tampa Bay's defense is pretty good.
It's going to come down to defense in the Brady Bowl.
There you go.
The houses that Tom Brady built. Hey, rookie QB Drake May has led New England to 6 straight wins and a 7-2 record atop the AFC East. I'm all in on the New England Patriots in that division, and I believe that they're going to come away with that upset win over Tampa Bay on Sunday.
So we're double down on the Gatorade?
I guess we are. Okay. I guess we are.
I still like blue. I like the blue ice.
It's going to come down to defense. Both offenses aren't necessarily very flashy.
No.
And, for the fair weather NFL fan, this game may not be super high scoring and a lot of exciting moments, but if you love defense and you love a gritty knockdown, drag 'em out fight, that's what you're going to get in this one, I believe.
And remember what I think I said this with him last year, or maybe at the beginning of this year, Baker Mayfield. You don't see him doing too many commercials.
Yeah,
not in the limelight.
That's right.
Remember when I mentioned all that?
Yeah. Let someone else handle the spotlight. Let Patrick Mahomes have all the Subway commercials.
Yeah, we'll see how that's working so far, huh? But he's not in the limelight so much. Now, if you look at Tampa Bay news and TV around that area, he's doing a lot of promotions, a lot of stuff for the community and stuff like that, which he always has. But you don't see him on the national level. He's concentrating on football right now, and I think that's a biggie. His turnover ratio, remember, he's just 3. You would know that 1 or 2. You knew he was going to throw that errant pass all the time. That was just a given, okay? But you don't see that. Turnovers are down this year. And so if he can limit his turnovers and let the defense do their job, then that's what's going to get the W, and the way I feel it. If that rookie comes out, hey, I'd love for New England, no doubt. Maybe somehow – because they've got a good coach, man. They've got one of the best coaches. He was one of the best players around, too. And he knows his stuff. So I think it's like you said, and he's a defensive guy.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see what happens with that one. I just like the only reason I'm gonna flip the coin and go with it just in Tampa Bay. That's the only reason.
Okay. Well, I know that somebody who had a very strong return back to action was the Baltimore Ravens quarterback Lamar Jackson. After a 3-game absence due to a pulled hamstring, Jackson returned and threw 4 touchdowns in the Ravens' 28-6 rout of the Miami Dolphins. I love Miami. They are a terrible football team, and it breaks my heart in that one. Ravens at Vikings. Baltimore looks to stay hot, while Minnesota tries to build on that big upset, taking down the Detroit Lions. That was a huge win for the Purple People Eaters on the road in Detroit. Baltimore at Minnesota. Do the Ravens keep cruising and try to make their way up that long mountain to get back into playoff contention?
Well, their quarterback's back finally, and also their main receiver, who's all everything, first touchdown receiver, and I think in 6 games was what it was. So he's back. Not so much that they've got something in common or whatever, but I just think the confidence booster there. But I think they played their hearts out against Detroit. Ravens, on the other hand, let me tell you something. We mentioned this 2 weeks ago. Vegas still had them coming back, and they're going to be on a roll.
You're right, and you talk about the MVP snub last year. Maybe Josh Allen actually did deserve the MVP. The way that he plays, and of course the way that he came back and just beat the Chiefs this week. He is a very strong player, no doubt. But if Lamar Jackson wants to win the MVP this year, what better story than coming back from, I believe, 1-5?
Yes.
To roar back. Of course, now we just saw Pittsburgh take down Indy and get a big win there. The Steelers will not be easy to take down with Aaron Rodgers and the bunch there. But imagine if the Ravens roar back, and they don't even have to win the division. We know that in the NFL, you don't got to win the division. You just got to make the wild card and go from there. But if they can come back, make the postseason, just get there, I think that they're an extremely dangerous team when healthy, capable of taking down anyone in the AFC right now, because boy, it's the wild, wild west in the AFC. The Bills look really, really strong. The Chiefs may not even make the postseason. Denver looks really good. The Chargers could be in the mix. And then there's Baltimore and likely Pittsburgh. They're in the mix as well. It really feels like it could go to anybody right now.
You sort of just went real quick over Denver. I noticed that one. You just sort of mixed them in with a 2-second volley there, okay?
I didn't give enough time to your guys,
You sort of bumped them a little bit,
look,
all right?
I love Bo Nix. As a former Oregon Duck, I love Bo, and I also love Herbert. Well, there's 2 Oregon Ducks in the AFC doing really great things.
And rightly so. We talk about
a fun side story here, and I'll make it quick. There's a team in my fantasy league that has never played fantasy football before a day in his life, but he's a diehard Denver Broncos fan. So he literally drafted all Denver Broncos players. And he just decided, I'm just going to lose on the bye week. I'm just going to take the loss on the bye week. And me and my buddies told him, I said, that's not really what you do. I know you love the Broncos. You're not supposed to just draft all of one team. You typically don't win when you do that. He's number 2 in the league right now. He's number 2 in the league, and he thinks we're all idiots.
Well, and I'm going to tell you right now, that's the matchup there. But you're right. The AFC is definitely, especially with the Ravens coming from, in the cellar, and they're going to be back strong. Vegas don't lose too much, man. I'm telling you right now. But he's definitely looking in the mix. I did notice this, though. You notice how his pocket presence, he didn't run the ball so much.
Yeah, right.
He maneuvered in the pocket.
Playing safe.
Waited for his receivers to come over. Now, I don't know if he's still with that, I don't know. It takes a long time especially when you got your upper torso trying to get in with, when you injure that hip area, it takes a little bit of time. But his scrambling looked fine. He scrambled around, but he found his open target. He didn't go downfield, is what I'm saying, and take those hits like he usually does.
A lot of discipline there because it's still a long season. I know we're at week 10.
And you didn't see that.
There's still a lot of games to go, and they have to be methodical. They have to be intentional because every game, every win matters. And really, the turning point of the season for Baltimore, if they do complete this comeback, if they do make the postseason, the turning point was not Lamar Jackson coming back and routing the Dolphins. The turning point was Cooper Rush and the Baltimore Ravens taking down what was a pretty solid Chicago Bears team at the time, and a big win there. And I still say at the time, but of course the Bears rally back and they beat Cincinnati in a shootout, scoring 3 touchdowns in the final minutes to come back in one of the most wildest games from week 9. Here's some other really interesting moments that are worth discussion here. We all love Cam Little here in Arkansas, the former Razorback kicker. History made a 68-yard field goal in the overtime win over the Raiders. I listened to this game on the radio. We were traveling on Sunday, and this is the one that was on the radio. And normally it's like, wow, Raiders, Jaguars, this is the best that was on the radio.
Overtime.
Yeah, well, listen, hey, it ended up being a pretty good game. And I'm on one with the Jaguars this year. I'm on one because I believe in your boy TL.
Yeah.
Despite the interception in the end zone on the 1 yard line on that drive there. I heard that come across and I was like, if Tracy's listening or watching this game right now, he's probably saying Mark is such an idiot. I don't know why he likes this team.
I was like going, how do you do that? I mean, the game is...
Reminds you of that Super Bowl when they should have just handed it to Marshawn Lynch and the Seahawks decided to
throw a slant.
Yeah.
But he's 6'6". He's 6'6" on the goal line, and you just don't leap over and shove the ball across?
Hey, they won the game anyway.
Oh, well, yeah. But by the way, that field goal could have been good from 75.
It could have.
It cleared it by 5 feet.
So the new record is 68 yards, but we know that in the preseason, one for 70 yards was kicked as well. So I don't know what it is about kickers, but the fact that they continue to find ways to break these records is pretty incredible.
Let me mention one real quick. Sam Darnold.
Yes.
Sam Darnold.
You want to talk about MVP candidates?
You brought it. I was just,
yes.
Well, we're Sam Darnold.
Yes.
What is going on?
He's the guy.
Okay.
And you and I both, we didn't give Seattle a whole lot of credit before this season.
No love.
And I don't think anybody did, maybe outside of the Legion of Boom out there in the northwest corner of the country.
No.
But Seattle is going to be a force to be reckoned with. And I believe that it's going to come down to the Seahawks and the Rams for who wins that division. But whoever comes out of that one, the NFC West is kind of quiet, and they're quietly just beating up on each other. Watch out, because the Super Bowl may run through Philly, but I think that someone from the West is going to give them everything they have.
Well, who's that old timer for the Rams? Who has the best quarterback rating right now?
Mm-hmm.
Hello?
Mm-hmm.
At 38?
Yeah.
Yeah. 380, whatever he is.
380.
Whatever. He's got the number one QB, and Sam Darnold's right behind him. So, I mean, y'all take that with what you want to. But
lots of great games coming up this weekend. Let us know which one you're excited for the most. You can text the show anytime, 501-915-1300. Our local roundup is next, right here on Sports and Shorts Tailgate Edition, 92.9 KVRE.
Fourth quarter coming up.
Tracy, do you ever see those contests online or on social media where it's like, hey, Enter today and you could win $1 million. I'm a glass half empty kind of guy. And I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not going to bother. Too good to be true. I don't buy lottery tickets. I don't buy scratch off tickets because as a mathematician, I'm like, yeah, the odds are against me. I'd rather not take a chance. And of course, you miss all of the chances that you don't take. It's one of the life lessons that you're always taught, right? How about a big congratulations to Dirks High School, winning the T-Mobile 2025 Friday Night 5G Lights competition. The Outlaws will receive a $1 million prize to upgrade its football facilities. The small town school beating out over 2,000 competitors nationwide, and it was not too good to be true. A lot of transparency from T-Mobile. You could see the vote count all along the way. And little old Dirks, the Outlaws, a town of roughly 900 residents in Howard County, is now going to get a major facelift to its Outlaw football program. I had a chance to watch the live stream, the pep rally on the day where it was announced that Dirks was the winner. What a feel-good story, Tracy, of not only Arkansas coming together, but really a lot of the country coming together to support a small town Arkansas school.
Yeah, and they were talking about the millions of votes that were in here, and quite a few from Arkansas, but you're right, from around the areas, from around the United States. It took half the vote to get them in, and sure enough, of course, they read the story on them and everything like that. And not only Coach Ernest, but the rest of the community over there emphasizing, how much they believe in their community. And that is just such a unbelievable accomplishment, and what they're going to be able to do, and plus what they're going to get to do too as a whole. Some of the players and stuff and coaches are going to get to go do things and stuff and playoff games and such. It's unbelievable, and we will have Coach Ernest on. I promise you that down the road. But what a story! That's got to be one of the tops ever. Mark, that's got to be.
Yeah, they got almost 2 million votes on social media for a town of just 900. Pretty incredible. A lot of small town pride. And, it's one of those things, a social media post, hey, we're in this competition, vote for us. And there's thousands of schools that could have won this opportunity.
Yes.
But it's that one social media post that someone shared it here, someone shared it here, someone talked about it here, and it goes viral. And of course, seeing the stadiums as well, whenever you could go in and cast your vote. And boy, I don't even know how many votes did I cast for Dirks in this contest. You could see the fields, and T-Mobile showed you the current state. This is the field that they play on. And you would look at all the other schools that were high vote getters in the competition, and you're like, wait a second here. This second place team, this third place team, their stadium looks better than almost every school in our state. Why are they in here? Why are they in? Well, listen, it came down to a fan favorite. It was a fan vote. So seeing Arkansas and seeing Dirks, and, I've seen their stadium before, and it reminds me about a lot of the stadiums that we saw in our travels in Class 3A play over the years. Some of the Class 2A schools that we've went to over the years. And what a major facelift for that program. $1 million. Sometimes doesn't go a whole lot of the way in this economy, but it will go a very long way in helping get this program to a level of competition and facilities that it deserves.
Big congratulations on them, man. No doubt about it.
Want to say a special congratulations to National Park College Nighthawk women's basketball on a season opener to remember. Monday in the Kettle, NPC opened the year with a dominant 120-39 win over Arkansas Baptist College. In the win, the Nighthawk women set the following records: most points scored in a game, largest margin of victory at 81 points, field goal attempts, 98 field goal attempts, 47 field goals made, and 30 team assists. If this is a sign of things to come for the defending NJCAA Region 2 champs, we're here for it. The Nighthawks return home Monday evening. You can catch them back in action in the Kettle at NPC against Williams Baptist University. Tip-off is at 5:30 p.m., or you can catch the live stream online, I Know a Guy, at np.edu/live. Nighthawk basketball is back.
And a big congratulations to the Professional Black Belt Academy. They sent almost 25 kids to the tournament, all of them recording a W are qualifying. Congratulations. Unbelievable to the competition in the Hot Springs Classic Martial Arts. Way to go, man. And I mean, they had them all the way from 5-year-olds up to 15. That's a big to do. Congratulations, you guys.
Future's absolutely bright. That's our show, Sports and Shorts Tailgate Edition. We're here every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. He's Tracy Simpson. I'm Mark Oliver. We'll see you next week.
Game over.